over Broadway.
So, Merrill, I know that this doesn't really, fuck, dead air. Sorry.
It's not dead air if you say dead air.
That's true. That's true. This doesn't really apply to you anymore. But do you ever just like look at Tinder and then realize that you like got a new match, but you don't know who this person is? You literally don't remember swiping right on them, and maybe a Russian bot.
For the 2 days that I had Tinder, first of all, bold of you to assume I had any matches.
Okay, well, I was just saying.
But yes, you're like, I definitely didn't swipe.
Because I literally just looked down at my phone and I'm like, who is this person? And I fully do not remember swiping on this person at all. But Bobby, who went to Georgetown University.
Hi, Bobby.
Tweet at me.
Bobby baby.
Because you're kind of cute.
Robbie darling.
Bobby booby.
That's a way to start
this is now a podcast about Connor going through his Tinder matches.
I like that you were casually scrolling Tinder just mere seconds before we were on air.
Well, because I had a notification and my insane rat brain is like, cleared notification, get dopamine.
Time to get the good juice.
Give
me the good feeling
juice.
That's very funny. I was just telling Connor about how I was teaching one of the moms that I used to sit for how to use Twitter this week.
Yeah.
And just kind of like explaining retweets and favorites and stuff like that. And as we were sitting there, someone liked one of her replies to someone else, and she was like, oh, this person liked it. And I went, there it is. Your little rat brain got the serotonin it needs. Now you're addicted. She was like,
never
oh,
be able
it's
to
dangerous. I was like, yeah. She goes, do you think you spend more time on Twitter than Instagram? I was like, yeah, 100%.
Hundo P.
She goes, why? I was like, because I don't have an interesting life. So what would I post pictures of?
Exactly. I just know how to write a joke.
Yeah, sometimes. And I'll be honest, it's a real low hit rate for me there. I was excited because yesterday I tweeted 3 times and got 2 likes. And I was like, okay, coming through.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Real bad out of hell hours.
Real bad out of hell. Taking it back.
All this to say, find Connor on Tinder. Swipe him, match him, take him out to coffee, wife this man up.
I would love that. Maybe one day I'll have a boyfriend, but who can never be sure.
Well, Mitch is available whenever you need. He's taking a nap. He is
fully
asleep. He's given up on this podcast.
He's so sick right now, and he's
so
sick, and we're putting him through hell of just being mean talent people. But it's not our fault that he's the strong.
He's a lifter. Whatever. I've given him many drugs. He's fine.
He's fine. Prop him up on some pillows. We just need him to push a button.
Speaking of pillows,
right? Is that how he does? That's very, very minimalizing of what Mitch does. He does much more than.
It's really hard to do his job.
Mostly because he has to deal with Merrill and I being assholes from behind the mic.
He deals with me every day. And that's what he chose to do in his life. In his one precious life.
It's like, yes, that's what I want. That right there.
Mentally deranged. Speaking of pillows, I also want to tell you this insane story.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a really good segue to the show, but
I ever had a segue.
That we ever could.
My kingdom for a segue. No. So the heaters, our room is very small, our bedroom.
Right.
It's like 12 foot long by like 7 feet wide. It's very narrow. Our bed fits snugly.
Right.
And we have it pushed up against the wall where that's true. You did. You helped install it even.
I helped install it even.
It's pushed up against the radiator.
Right.
Which since we moved in June was not an issue.
Oh God.
This week it's been cold. So the heater kicked on.
Yeah.
And we had pillows up against it. So I woke up one day this week to Mitch yanking the pillow out from under my head. At 6 a.m. And I was like, that is my pillow. What are you doing? He goes, it's too hot from the heater. I'm helping. He just kept saying, I'm helping to me. Threw my pillow on the floor. I was like, You're helping me build a defense for your murder. Like,
apparently.
So now we have to figure out how to arrange the bed so that it's not up against a heater so that I don't catch us on fire and I don't wake up at 6 a.m. pillowless.
Well, a radiator, I feel like you probably won't catch on fire. It would just be very, very uncomfortably warm.
Yeah, it would just be warm.
Yeah.
And then the heat wouldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to do a good job. I'm interested to experience
You could flip the bed so that your pillows are on the opposite end and your feet are by the radiator, and then you never have cold feet.
We thought about that, but we do use pillows like that lean up against the wall. We don't have a headboard, so those pillows would fall off. We'll figure it out. Okay, we've done enough up top.
So helping
Connor and I are in these double show days, and honestly, by the time we get to just the two of us, I'm wiped.
At this point, we're just like, jokes. Okay, we do this more.
I would say we have like four units of being able to focus.
Yes,
and they're gone at this point.
Oh, fully gone. So by the time we get to the when it's just the two of us, we're just going to talk about
TikTok bits,
and tweets, and
just the two of us.
And
we're not licensed for this song, just the two of us.
And speaking of songs, musicals have songs, and today we're talking about a musical called
Title of Show.
I didn't know who was going to say it.
You nailed it.
Thank you.
Title of Show, which is the title of the show, and not just me forgetting what the title of the show is.
No, it's a fun little joke bit.
It is a show about two guys writing a show about two guys writing a show.
It's meta.
I was trying to explain this to Mitch last night. He was like, I don't understand. Let's say we're picking up a play.
Yeah.
It's about two guys writing a show. Then we decide to make a movie about the two guys who wrote the play about two guys writing a play.
Yeah.
Then we zoom out further. Now we're looking at the world.
More.
We were looking at a bug on a leaf. Then we were looking at the tree. Now we're looking at the bug.
and the green grass grows all around.
All around.
All around.
Is that a Jesus song?
No, it's like they're in a hole in the ground. Do you know the song I'm talking about? I don't know.
No,
the lyrics.
I know that song. The green grass grows all around, and the green grass.
But I don't think it's
a
Jesus song.
What's the one about worms? The bones are their money, so are the worms.
Bones? What?
One time will you watch I Think You Should Leave so that you get any of my references? I'm
sorry. I've only watched the first 2 episodes. I know I'm terrible.
That's it. After we're done recording this, I'm forcing you to watch with me.
I'm okay with that. Hold on. I
hold for Connor to look up green grass grows all around.
That's what I'm doing. I'm sorry. It's going to bug me.
Mitch is furious. We're interrupting his nap for this. He's going to make us chunk this in the trash.
He is going to make us chunk this in the trash.
We assured him that this was a one act. It's like a 90-minute show. We're like, we'll be done recording this in an hour tops. We've probably gone like 20 minutes. We've mentioned the show once.
There was a hole in the middle of the ground, the prettiest hole that you ever did see, and the green grass goes all around, and the green grass goes all around, and then they just like build the world out more.
Oh, it's there was an old lady who swallowed a fly story.
Yeah. So it was relevant.
What?
My tangent was
There's a
relevant.
hole in a log at the bottom of the sea. Sort of thing. Yes. What's the end game for the pretty hole in the ground song?
Well, do you really need to ask
That's my
for that?
question. That's what I'm saying.
Let's ask Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Become whole.
Become whole.
Become whole.
Simply insane.
Mayor Pete is gay. This show was written by 2 gay men. We're back. Okay. The show
I'm peeking.
has music and lyrics by Jeff Bowen.
Sorry, hold on. I didn't cue you.
Oh, sorry.
Connor, can we get some facts and figs on title of show?
Here's your facts and figs about title of show. Oh, I forgot that we were going to do a bumper. Okay.
Facts and figs.
There it is. Music and lyrics written by Jeff Bowen with the book by Hunter Bell. For the production history, it premiered at the New York Musical Theater Festival in September 2004. And then it went through some more rewrites and all that kind of thing. It went off Broadway at Ars Nova in September 2005, and then it transferred to off Broadway in February 2006 and ran until April 2006. And then 2 years later, it transferred to Broadway and was on Broadway from July 2008 until October 2008 and ran for 102 performances.
Nice.
They did get nominated for a Tony.
Amazing.
Even though it's like kind of a smaller show, not many people know it unless you're like a Broadway stan, really. Excuse me. God. That burger we had from lunch is coming back.
Gross.
Yeah, it's a little Kanban being the gross one this time. They were nominated for Best Book for a musical, but they did not win.
Okay.
And the show chronicles its own creation as an entry in the New York Musical Theater Festival and follows the struggles of the author and composer / lyricist and their 2 actress friends during the initial 3-week creative period, along with the subsequent events leading up to the show's full production. Mm-hmm. So it's like we said at the beginning, it's like very meta. It's all about them writing the show as the show is happening. And then they have a bit in the Wikipedia where they talk about how like as each new production happened, they just added more things that happened to them into the show.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what that means. Because I don't fully know like what was added, and I don't think they list that in the. But
interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun little.
I want to say
this ice cube is massive.
That's what we're here. We're here for big cubes, baby. Big cubes, we got them. Come to our house for big cubes. I want to say shout out to Susan Sordo, who handed me this soundtrack on she burned a CD for me of this cast recording. Cute. She was like, I think you would really like this.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susan. You were correct. I did like this. She's like, I think you would really like the character Susan. And I was like, he got me dead to rights.
Dead to rights.
Got me dead to rights.
When I put on this soundtrack to listen to it last night, I just like completely forgot how much I love this show. Like it's
cute.
It felt like kind of like coming home because it's like one of the shows that I used to listen to a lot in high school.
Yeah.
And I like introduced to a lot of my friends because like I had found out about it from like YouTube videos or something like that. And then I was like, oh, this show, the algorithm, if you will. Thank you, Jeff Bezos. No,
first of all, never thank Jeff Bezos. And he did not invent YouTube.
It's not my fault that you have an Alexa in your house.
Don't say her name.
I'm sorry.
She will listen.
She always
Children will listen.
She always listens. But I do really love this show very much.
It's cute.
It's very cute. You were mentioning before we started that this show shouldn't work for you. Do you want to talk on that?
Yeah, I hate breaking the fourth wall.
Okay.
I hate asides to the wink, wink. We're all doing it's funny.
Right.
You get the joke because you know theater.
Yeah.
Like I don't enjoy that very often.
Sure.
Like the meta-ness of it. It's a show about a show about a show.
Yeah.
I don't know why it works for me. I think because it speaks largely to the creative process.
Yeah.
I think that's why it works.
Definitely.
But in theory, like if on paper someone had presented this to me as, this is just a note, always present something to me in the form of flattery by saying, I think you would really like this character and could maybe play it. Yes, thank you. I will listen to this. You think me, a star? This could be a star-making part for me? Of course.
That's how I'm going to get you to listen to all of the musicals from now on.
Exactly. Like, you could play this horrible old woman. Yes, thank you. I will listen. This aged diva. Yeah, 100%.
I resonate with that.
Instead of just giving me the plot, and the minute I hear the plot of the musical, I'm like,
right,
done, bored, don't care.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's a good way to live my life.
It's a good way to approach musical theater when you have a musical theater podcast.
What? Are you saying I'm doing this incorrectly? There's a better way? I don't think so. To get into the cast, it's really simple.
Yeah, very, very simple.
Hunter Bell played Hunter. Susan Blackwell played Susan. Heidi Blickenstaff played Heidi. And Jeff Bowen played Jeff.
And there's also a fifth character, sort of.
Larry.
Who's Larry. He's the pianist /
musical director.
And he's always on stage because the stage is just 4 chairs and then a piano.
Yeah.
And he's always on stage, and occasionally he will like stop the music and like give notes during the show. It's very funny when he does that.
Love to do bits.
He does bits all the time, and you kind of hear some of that in the recording and the cast recording, where he's like, "No, that's not your note. This is your note. Sing it with Jeff." And then like Susan does her, "Your note can suck my note because your note is my notes, bitch."
Yeah.
So like it's very.
That's the note I'm singing.
Oh my God, I love that one.
I love it.
But they do a lot of that kind of like, we're in rehearsal and we're actors.
We're commenting on the action.
Exactly.
Especially no song does that more, I think, than Untitled opening number.
Oh, 100%.
Where they're like, and for a little texture, we'll sing in syncopation, we'll add a quarter note, then we'll sing in fortissimo.
Sing in fortissimo. It's great.
Well, absolutely, just talking about what they're doing.
Yeah.
The breaking down the, what's the word I'm looking for? Like formula to
definitely.
writing musical theater.
It's very because I was reading a little bit about like when they were writing it and what they wanted to do, because they were originally going to like write an entirely different musical. And they realized when they were getting ready to like put the show into the festival, the King's Festival.
Sorry, I can't help it.
It's fine. They realized that their conversations about writing the musical were more interesting than the musical that they were writing.
Tough to hear, but good to recognize.
But good to know that you can take a note.
Yes.
So they were like, let's turn this into the musical. So they did.
Okay, love that.
Which is how you got to title of the show. But it's kind of like, it's very. I hate that I'm about to say this. It's very postmodern. It's very ironic.
This bitch thinks this is an academic podcast, not just some bits we do.
But it's like, it's very ironic. It's very self-effacing, self-referential. And we love that about title show.
And
it's
we love that.
We love that.
I really identify. I'm just skipping around here. I'm not going in any particular order. Like I said, I think I like this because it is such an interesting commentary on the creative process.
Yeah, 100%.
For example, writing should feel easy, like a monkey driving a speedboat.
The imagery.
It's good.
It's so good.
And just the feelings and concerns you have, like, this should not be that hard. Why can't I do this?
Right.
I feel that a lot of people, like, it's so easy to do jokes with your friends at brunch. It is harder to write jokes into a form that can be consumed by others.
Exactly. Something that we have been experiencing.
Couldn't be me.
But I really do like that. And that is especially like emblematic in Die Vampire Die.
Oh, 100%.
Because
cut me to my core, please.
Literally. Like, it's nothing more in that song like hits you harder than the end when they're like, then there's that vampire who's like, it gets real fucking real. He's going to sit there and he's going to tell you that you're a piece of shit and that you're never going to be famous. And you're always going to think that he's right. And you can't let that happen. And it sucks, but it's really good. I do think that they really kind of play with that a lot. I also really like that, as well as like the creative aspect of art. They talk a lot about, like what it means to achieve your dreams.
Yeah. Like
part of it all is like such a fucking mood about like, I'm going to do this one thing and it's going to be my ticket. And I'm going to be an artist and I'm going to be a creative. And it really like hits you. This show has always like resonated with me, but a lot of the more like poignant parts of like what it actually means to be a working artist and a working creative hit me so much harder when I listened to it this past week.
That should be hitting different.
That should be hitting different.
Yeah, when you're in high school and you have your whole life ahead of you, you're like, I've never been more confident.
Exactly.
then you meet other people and you're like,
and then you move to New York and you start a dead end 9-to-5 job and your soul dies a little bit every day.
You
and
become
then
riddled with insecurities.
You fall into a very, 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 very deep depression. And then you find comedy and you're like, oh, I'm funny. And then you find out that there are many other people who are also in comedy who are also very funny and are having much more success than you are. And then you're like, well, I'm dying.
Hello, my old friend. We're back.
But like, no, I think that they really do walk that fine line of like talking about the creative process, but then also talking about the end goal for the creative.
Absolutely. I think it's a nice, especially highlighted in Die Vampire Die.
Oh, yeah.
It's a nice walking the line of we're making jokes.
Yeah.
It's funny. And then like, but really when it comes down to it, anxiety and intrusive thoughts and thinking you're not good enough and self-worth and confidence are actual issues. And then it's right back. Like it brings it down for a second, gets a little real, and then it's right back into the show and fun. And we're back doing, or even things like I Am Playing Me is such a great little.
So good.
Like I really do think the girls have some of my favorite songs in this show. Secondary Characters
is amazing.
Secondary Characters is maybe my favorite song on the album.
It's really, really fucking good. My favorite song is Monkeys and Playbills.
Sure, of course.
Just because it's so fun. But I was listening to it. When you listen to it in headphones, you can hear the different parts.
Yes.
And and I've seen the show before, and I know that they do sing it like everything is very staggered in terms of the lyrics. But I was like, listening to that, like that has to be a fucking bitch to sing.
Rehearsal for that is.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine. Because it's such a fun song, and it's so funny and stupid because they're just like making this story up about monkeys.
Yeah.
Using old playbills from failed shows. It's so fucking funny.
So the gist of the show is two men are writing a show for the New York Musical Theater Festival. The deadline's only 3 weeks away. They are frustrated that they don't have any inspiration. Then they start deciding to write the musical about writing a musical. They recruit their friends, Susan and Heidi, to help with the project. The guys are battling writer's block. The girls are sort of making suggestions, acting as the voices in the boys' head. I really do love the Tony Award song, and then it gets a little bit underway, and then Jeff interrupts Hunter, who is singing, and is like, "We already cut that. Like, stop singing that. We cut that.
We cut it.
Which is
because the Tony Awards joke is too easy.
It's so easy.
This is a really good segue because this song is really self-indulgent in terms of like all of the jokes are about Broadway. It's very much a self-referential show to the
it's for people in the know.
Exactly.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know, which is one of the reasons why like it's not a very widely known show.
Sure.
I feel like, but I was kind of thinking last night, like when you compare it to other shows that do a similar thing, does it Monty Python or like Drowsy or like Something Rotten, how do they hold up? Because like Drowsy and Something Rotten, I feel like have been a little bit more successful.
Yeah.
Or at least Something Rotten has for sure.
Because they utilize golden age song structures.
Sure. Drowsy for sure. Something Rotten does make a lot of jokes of like bigger name shows.
Okay. That's very
like because they have like a chorus line bit, and they
gotcha
like their entire number like Make a Musical is just like making fun of literally all of Broadway history.
Okay. Yeah, I think also the benefit of this show, staging wise, and why I think a lot of theater companies could and do it, is that it's 4 chairs and a keyboard.
Yeah.
So the orchestra, like the music of it is pretty plinky. It's very vocal, like it's a vocal heavy show. You have to have really talented vocalists, which I think is great. But I think that's another reason it's not as popular.
Sure.
Like it's not as fun and big. It's not like there are songs to sing along to, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I love it, but it doesn't feel as full, I think.
Yeah, I get that.
So I could see that being sort of a hindrance also. And also there's like a whole part, I can't remember what song that is, where they're talking, I think it's Jeff talking to someone, and he's like, fucking, it's the notepad. And he's like, fucking fucker, fuck you. He's like, what's with all the curse words? He's like,
is that appropriate or even necessary?
Yeah, like, you're the writer. Make me say something else.
Right. Which, let's talk about that song.
Okay.
Because that song used to be like that was the song that I first ever heard from the show that like made me like find the show. And then I was like, wait, this song is really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
And then I was like listening to it again. I'm like, no, this song is really funny. And then I listened to it last night and I'm like, problematic.
Don't love it.
Don't love the fact that he's being black.
It's an affect that is certainly a choice.
Definitely. He doesn't do blackface, which is a step in the right direction.
But that is the 2003 of it all.
That is the
2004 of it all.
Again, once again, it's us looking at shows from
even a year ago
in an entirely different lens. But what are you gonna do?
But I do think that there is an element of, at some point you do have to look at language in a show and say, okay, this is why it doesn't achieve a certain amount of popularity.
Right.
I think. And I think that's part of it.
For sure. Yeah.
Versus Monty Python, which I think is light.
Yeah.
Definitely no F-bombs.
No, but Monty Python also has the weight of Monty Python. Of being
Monty Python. And same, I think, a little bit with Something Rotten. It's Shakespeare. Yeah. Like, that's a thing you all read in 10th grade lit.
Right.
Like, you all know it. And Drowsy Chaperone less, but I think that is where the golden age structure of it all comes. Like,
because you pull in the blue hairs.
The songs sound like musical theater.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get that crowd that you try to get in musical theater.
And it's not the only joke.
Right.
The entire joke of title of show is that it's referencing shows.
Exactly.
Whereas Monty Python or Drowsy Chaperone is like, we're doing it a little bit, but there's also an actual story.
Right. Not that there's not a story in title of show, but it's just it's so
the story
much
is
more.
Just the story of writing a musical.
Exactly. I realized last night as I was listening to it that this show has influenced my humor more than probably any other piece of media. Oh, yeah? I was like listening to it and like every few fucking lines I was like, that's a joke I say all the time. That's a joke I say all the time. Like the Broadway.com and the September montage.
Broadway.com is
Broadway.com. Broadway.com can kneel down, open its online mouth and suck my fucking cock. Like I say that at least once a week. The Susan's like, can't you see that I'm dying inside song? Yes. Again, a daily reference in the Mirror to Me.
A mantra.
There's so many this because I was listening to this show when I was forming myself as an artistic person. It really did influence a lot of my comedy. Which is wild.
Okay, so they cut the Tony song. Jeff and Hunter discuss their ambition to write and compose for a living. But doubts and insecurities surface. Heidi wonders what she's gotten herself into. She's worried. Hunter's worried they're just doing bits and novelty songs. And they need something a little meatier.
Like a tiny asteroid is a little meteor.
And Susan and Heidi become suspicious of each other. Classic.
Oh my God.
What kind of girl is she?
What kind of girl is she is so funny. Again, another joke that I think about a lot is she might try to steal my husband. She might try to have my baby.
My babies. It's very funny.
Very funny. And it's so indicative of like when you meet somebody new and you like don't know who this person is. And you're like, okay, well, what kind of person are you?
What's your deal? I think one of the girls there's a line in this where she's like, I'm used to being the funniest.
Yeah, I'm used to being the funny one in the room, Hunter.
I was like, wow, truly come for my whole family. Just to attack me in this way
to attack you in your own home.
A crime.
It's true.
Like, I've truly said that verbatim. Which is hard for me to admit and embarrassing, but here I am living my truth.
Truly.
Hunter and Jeff are getting more and more discouraged. Susan, so this is when Die Vampire Die happens. They're like, don't get down on yourself, like you can power through. Re-energize the men, finish the show, and the ensemble tackles the festival paperwork, filling out the form.
That's filling out the form.
Since the deadline is upon them and nobody can come up with a killer name for the show, they decide to leave the title of show field untouched, which makes title of show the name of their show. That's stylized bracket, lowercase title of show bracket.
Yeah.
What if they don't pick it? Hunter worries. Well, that'll be Act 2, says Jeff. Important to note, this is a one-act musical.
This is a one-act 90-minute musical.
And then they get chosen.
I think this is the shortest show we've ever covered on the pod.
Probably. Come From Away is also 90 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
But this show benefits from not having to do with 9/11.
9/11.
Making it a little lighter.
Just a bit.
A little lighter fare. They go to the festival. They do their 6 performances. They note as a bonus that fancy industry people are in the audience. Heidi and Susan reconcile their differences and bond over their supporting roles.
And that's secondary characters. Which is such a brilliant meta humor moment.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the one it's so hard to pick because there's not a lot of songs in the show because it is so short. But like, and they're all really good, but secondary characters is like easily one of the best.
The secondary characters are taking the stage while the guys are eating snacks in the wings or something like that. It's so good.
It's so funny. And like Frodo and Samwise, you'll be my best friend. Like, it's so funny. And then at the end when Susan and Heidi are just like riffing and like Susan kind of can't riff. So Heidi's like, okay.
Cut it off.
And then Heidi just like starts riffing like insanely. And the guys
There's a Dream On reference.
There's the guys walk back on and they're like, what the fuck is happening out here?
What's going on?
And Susan is like, I don't know. I was just standing here quietly. And Heidi was all like, oh.
Thanks, Susan.
It's so fucking good.
I gotta play it. It's
such a good meta humor moment.
I will find the end and I will.
Wow.
I love that ending. It's very funny.
Please. Okay.
What's going on? I don't know. I was just standing here quietly, and Heidi was like, "Thanks, Susan."
But it's also just so funny because, like, obviously the guys know what's happening. They wrote the fucking show.
That's why it's funny.
Hi, so this is Bits Over Broadway where we describe why jokes are funny.
Jokes.
Famously, if you don't get jokes, ask us and we will tell you.
As plans progress toward taking the musical to Broadway, things begin to unravel. They discuss making changes to the script versus not. Hunter and Jeff contact numerous famous Broadway actresses, finally get a response from Our Lady, Sutton Foster.
They actually do this as a bit in the show where they have recordings of them answering the like calls.
Yes.
And the famous actresses constantly turning them down. It's very funny.
And then Hunter suggests replacing Heidi. Tensions build. Everything finally boils over at a publicity photo shoot. Heidi's upset with Hunter. Susan's concerned about profit sharing. Jeff is getting eaten by vampires. And Larry, the keyboardist, feels snubbed because he's not in any of the press photos. Sorry. And then Hunter's mad at everybody. That night, They all apologize, and the four wax nostalgic over younger, happier, less complicated days in A Way Back to Then.
This song. So I was listening to this song, and I couldn't like contain myself. It hit me like a ton.
Did you cry?
Almost.
Okay.
I was at work too, and because it was the end, and it was the end of the day, and I was just like listening to this as I was like getting the weekend set up to go with to automate everything. Sorry, this is not interesting. And
I love it.
I was just like, this song came on, and I was like listening to the lyrics for the first time in literally years. I haven't listened to the soundtrack in a while.
Yeah.
And I just like started tearing up, and I was like, oh fuck. Literally never before has this song ever like resonated with me. And I had liked it back in high school. I was like, oh, this is a good song. It's fun. But like back then I thought I was gonna like do all of these things, and I had so many dreams.
Of course.
And like then the like line that hit me the most was like the mundane sets in, you sift through the field and plow through the day. And it's like just talking about the slog of like constantly trying to get through the day so that you can do the thing that you want to do at the end of some time period.
Yeah.
And it's like so kind of heart-wrenching because you're like, oh fuck, I'm still plowing, I'm still fucking fighting against the current.
I have 4 units of focus, I've used them all up.
It's true. I can't do any more.
Yeah.
And it was just like really, really fucking, it like reached into my gut and like wrenched out my soul.
Yeah.
It was really, really hard to listen to, but I listened to it a bunch after that, and I was like,
but then I just put it on repeat to really feel the
really pounded my ass back to 2007.
They now understand that the show must sink or swim as is, with the 5 of them without a bankable star.
Yeah.
Because the relationship and the quality of the creation are more important to them than commercial success. And I would just like to say, full permission, Connor.
Yeah.
The minute this becomes bankable in any way, ditch me. I would do the same to you. We've built nothing. This means nothing. Get that bag. Secure the bag, Connor. You have my recorded permission.
Okay. This is legally binding.
This is a legally binding vocal contract.
Wow. I love that for us.
I will replace you with the first twink that comes along.
I mean, fair.
And I expect you to do the same to me.
Well, I don't know about a twink, but okay.
First of all, how dare you? That's like me being like, any ingenue as though I could ever. If you find an old diva to replace me, I give you full permission.
Becky, I'm calling you this minute.
I will be replaced by Patti LuPone or no one.
Listen, I would pay money to have Patti LuPone scream in my face. Just for like a minute.
Okay, new letter writing campaign.
Yeah.
Get Patti LuPone on this podcast.
Get Patti LuPone on our stupid podcast.
She's gonna come to my house, and we're gonna chat about Evita.
That's gonna be the show we talk about. I know she's dying to.
Yeah, Evita, not Sweeney Todd,
nope.
not
Gypsy,
Evita. What's the Makeup Wars? What was that one?
What
was that called?
War Paint.
War Paint. Of course. Oh, I do not like that.
Because ladies, you put on your...
It's your battle.
It's your battle. Oh, are we not doing Eliza Schlesinger anymore?
Were we ever? They now understand Bankable Star, commercial
Mitch, cut
success. They decide they would rather be nine people's favorite thing rather than 100 people's ninth favorite thing. And that is the motto we use on this podcast, too.
I literally wrote how I feel about this pod.
Yeah. 9 people's favorite thing. 100 people's ninth favorite thing.
But honestly, if we were 100 people's favorite thing, that would be pretty cool,
That'd be the best of both worlds.
That would be the best of both worlds.
Jeff says, which of course they have just finished. Wait, let's just put it out there and see what happens. Jeff says, which of course they've just finished doing. And so the show ends finale. At curtain call, the 4 ugly chairs rise into the rafters and returned encrusted in diamonds, which is a joke from the very beginning of the show. That's great. Very funny. Broadway musical numbers.
I think the Tony song is actually in the show.
Yeah. They sing it. They sing a little bit of it.
Yeah.
And then he cuts them off.
Well, right? I'm trying to remember because I've seen the show at ACTF, the theater festival that we used to go to. And I can't remember if that song is actually in the show itself because they do in the recording, they cut it off. But
if he does it full out.
Yeah, because I distinctly remember there being more of the joke of are you finally proud of me, Dad? I won a Tony.
Yeah.
And are you proud of your gay son?
Yeah. That's in the
that is on the soundtrack, but
recording.
I feel like they build it out more, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
possible. What else has Hunter Bell done?
I'm not entirely sure. That's it.
He's from Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a really short show and it's basically just all one giant bit.
At a financial loss. That's tough. Yeah. I like it. It's fun. It's fun to sing. I think it is. I don't ever want to sit down and really listen to it as a whole.
Sure. Yeah, just pick out songs.
Yeah. It's definitely put this on a playlist.
Oh, yeah.
Put this on a shower playlist kind of musical for me.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, so I guess we can wrap up already.
I know.
It's such a short show.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
With all our 2-hour eps, here's a
truly.
nice quick 45 breather for you.
And not everything has to be 2 hours. You heard it here first, folks.
You heard famously. You can also do really bad shows in a little amount of time.
It's
also
very true. And we are the rule, not the exception.
That's true. Connor,
yes.
Man and share this for me.
I really do love this show. It's one of my top 10.
Oh, wow.
Just because, like I said, it was really formative to me when I was in high school. We've been covering a lot of shows that were very formative to me in our...
Okay, well, you were in high school for 20 years.
Okay,
so.
well, just because I was held back 4 times doesn't mean anything, Merrill.
Connor's 57 years old.
And I don't look a day over 10.
Baby
face. But no, I really do love this show. I used to listen to it all the time, and it was definitely a driving album. One of my go-tos, always and forever. And like I said, I loved introducing my friends to it. We had a lot of fun singing it, and like I also said earlier, it influenced my comedy a lot. Recently figuring that out was fun for me.
I do love that. I love going back to a movie you watched growing up all the time that you haven't seen. You're like, wait a minute, I quote this daily and just forgot that it was from this.
Exactly. And you're like, oh,
I'm not
okay.
funny, actually.
I'm not funny. I'm just derivative.
Everything's derivative, love.
Everything is derivative.
My dad has a system for my brothers and I because we used to quote things so often at the dinner table, but also we're very funny. Well, and he got tired of we got tired of him accusing us of not being funny on our own. And he got tired of asking what things were from. So he just reverted to asking us if it was original or crispy. We have a real KFC situation
I
in
love
our
that.
house. So if you came up with it yourself, it's original. And if you're quoting something, it's crispy. So I love realizing things are crispy that I thought were original.
I love that. That's so funny. Wow.
Just imagine how exhausting it would be to have 3 children who are just constantly talking at you and you have no idea what they're saying.
I imagine that's probably how my parents feel all the time.
All the time.
With me.
Yeah. Well, now you have a system and going forward, you could say
original.
Crispy original.
Crispy original. I love that.
I'm going to start hashtagging all my jokes like that.
As hashtag crispy or original. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Merrill, man and chair this.
I do like this show quite a bit.
That's good.
Again, shout out to Susan Sordo for introducing me to
Susan.
this.
We love a Susan.
She's lovely. And it was very sweet of her to introduce this to me.
Aww.
It's fun to sing along. is a fun look at the creative process.
For sure.
It's a very cool story of people who submitted to a festival and then got to Broadway. That's amazing.
In like a very short amount of time, I feel like, too, for an
4 years.
original show
that's
within 4 years.
Yeah, pretty incredible. For really no funding.
Yeah.
And, to truly write a show and submit it to a theater festival and then have that show eventually transfer to Broadway is amazing.
Yeah, truly awesome.
It's quick. Check out it. It's a quick listen through.
Literally.
You don't really have to be paying attention. You're not missing much. There's not a lot of dialogue that you're missing huge amounts of the plot.
Yeah.
So
the
easy to follow.
The songs are very isolated.
Yeah.
They don't fully like move.
It's like a bunch of sketches with novelty songs.
Sketches with novelty
it works.
Songs. It does work. It does work though. And it does have some substance. Because
for sure.
Like we said, they fully talk about like the artistic life, creative dreams, what it means to be an adult and lose all hope that you've ever had in your life.
Spiral downward into the blackness below.
Anyway, I'm gonna
float slowly to the bottom.
I'm gonna go find myself some whiskey.
Mitch doesn't care about us. He doesn't care if we live or die.
Oh, he just pointed the whiskey out to me. Thanks, Mitch.
He's scrolling Instagram. He doesn't have time for our woes.
He doesn't have time for our depressing
our sadness.
Jokes.
That was a quick ep.
That was a really quick ep. Good for us. I'm glad. For all the times that Mitch gets mad at us for going 5,000 hours over.
Just for that, I'm going to talk for another hour about unrelated topics.
That was great.
Connor, anything to plug?
No, just as usual, you can find me at crelier12 across all social media, and that's where you'll see my writing, or if I ever do anything other kind of dumb projects, that's where you'll be able to find them.
Perfect.
Merrill, anything for you?
Nope, you can find me at Merrill Kaye across all platforms. Just a reminder, we drop episodes every other Wednesday for Bits Over Broadway. You can find us at Bits Over B-Way across all platforms. We're on every podcast app, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify. I'm always interested when people list where they're available. Like, how did the people find this episode?
Sure.
And you're telling them where to get podcasts. But if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and you prefer Stitcher, we're there.
Right.
You can find us on Spotify. Like and subscribe, rate and review.
Please clap.
Duet this.
Duet this. This is not on. We are not on TikTok.
We're gonna be. Excited to do musical memes.
Yeah, can't wait.
You can email us at bitsoverbway@gmail.com.
Okay.
We need to get the what?
I was going to say we need to get that couple that, have you seen this couple on TikTok where they do when a man in a musical like comes home?
Yes.
Or like when a woman in a musical like
I've only ever seen the man. I've never seen the woman.
She has
classic patriarchy.
I mean, true, but like she has done a couple of them as well. They are so fucking funny.
Yeah, like if you're a man in a musical walking into a room.
Yeah.
And it's very dramatic and very well done.
It's incredible. It's so good.
Love that.
Love that.
Yeah, check that out. On TikTok.
I don't know what the fuck their ad is at, but
couldn't tell you what their handle is or how to find them.
But just go to the For You page and scroll. You'll find them.
It'll come up eventually. Yeah, I think that's all I have.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. What's the one about worms?